Big item this week, obviously, Senator, the constitutional obligation, and that is the budget is now set for the next fiscal year for the state.
Yes, I am very thankful that we were able to get that finished. We had a deadline of today, and then with the federal funding, we had so much more, of course, that we're not going to have in future years. And so we really wanted to be sure that we were dedicating that money towards long-term infrastructure, those type of things that was really going to make a long-term impact since it is a one shot kind of thing. And so we've had an incredibly eventful week working through the budget. Couple of budget highlights, we increased teacher pay, and that's something that's been needed for a long time. Certainly not where I'd love to see it, increase nonetheless. We increased transportation in education, which is a big deal in our rural areas. It is something that the state is supposed to fully fund every year, and we don't. With the budget, it's what dollars the General Assembly decides to appropriate, and that's not been something that's been high on the list for some reason for those that are in charge of the budget. And I know that we've got other things that are incredibly important and there's never enough money to go around, but I think this is really going to make an impact in our rural districts, in our rural schools. So I'm excited about that. We also passed, along with these dollars, we passed a tax refund rebate, I guess to be called, for up to 500 a person or up to 1,000 a couple on filing your taxes. It's a one-time return of money to the taxpayers. If you have tax due, it will come off your taxes due for next year. And so that's just a really exciting thing that's going to help the constituents across the 27th Senatorial District and across the state. Those are all very good things. As far as policies are concerned, we were able to get eminent domain protections out of the Senate, which is something that we've been working on for several years now, since there's been some back and forth on a transmission line, an electrical transmission line that's been being built across Missouri, the northern part of Missouri. With it, they have to put their equipment on some farm property. For the farmers that have not been willing to sell or to allow them to do that, they've been wanting or working to invoke eminent domain. Well, I'm a private property rights person, and I'm not okay with that in any way. I mean, that's a private company. This is private property, and you shouldn't be able to do that. And certainly our farmers, when you put a big old piece of equipment in the middle of one of their fields for their row crops or whatever, their equipment then has to go around this, and it's not fair. And if you own your property, you shouldn't have to be afraid of the government or anyone else coming in and telling you what you're going to have to do with it. The compromise that we got out of the Senate allowed the company, if eminent domain does get approved, then they have to pay 150% of the appraised price. And so that makes it quite a bit more of a deterrent for a private company to try to invoke that or go that route. Very excited about that. And then to me, the most exciting policy that came out of the Senate this week, and I think we'll also be able to get it out of the House, is the election integrity bill. And this is something that we've gone back and forth with all year, but the highlights of it is that bans ballot harvesting, it bans the drop boxes for ballots, and it fixes the voter ID issue that we had that kept us from being able to implement that before. So it gives us our voter ID requirement, which is very important. And then it also has a cybersecurity auditing piece in it to where those election rolls and just the process is going to be scrutinized and looked at more frequently. So I'm really excited about that as well.